Welcome to Building the Best You, a destination for you to reimagine what is possible in your life and then create it. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Jeanne Collins, and today we are talking about mediumship. Ooh, get ready, everybody. It's a Monday morning for us. I have Shannon Dyson on the show, and this one is really cool. She's a psychic. She's a medium. I have actually done a session with her, so I have a lot that I can personally say about this, but this woman is really cool. She combines multiple worlds to help people live better lives. I love it. It is so aligned with building the best you. So Shannon, there's so much that we can talk about, but we're going to try to keep it under an hour here. But welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, and it's so great because when I did my session with you, I didn't actually see you. So for me, this is super exciting because I actually get to see you and see your energy. And that is so cool. So thank you so much for agreeing to be on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
So let's start out with a little bit of like who you are, right? Who you are, where you live, kind of how did you get into this? Because some people may say they were born with psychic abilities and other people have grown into psychic abilities. So could you share with everybody a little bit about your background that got you to where you are?
Absolutely. I think a lot of it is a combination of both. Everyone is born with gifts, abilities, but our ability to activate them and use them is highly contingent upon our circumstances, the experiences we have in this life, and also our ability to awaken the part of us that activates using those certain abilities. So growing up, I was highly sensitive and I was kind of aware that I was highly sensitive, but I honestly believed in my own mind that that's just how I was perceiving the world, kind of making my own sense of everything. I was highly aware of energies, specifically the negative ones, because I was around a lot of negative energy growing up. So I learned that dynamic very, very quickly of how negative energy impacts, how it suppresses, how I responded to it, and how it formed me into something or someone I ultimately didn't want to be. So in my about late teenage years, I was talking with a friend, and out of nowhere, because I have a lot of visions, I'm a seer. I see energy, I see into multiple dimensions. I see everything first, and then it relates the concept to me. That's how I'm very visual. That's how I understand energy as I see it in illustrations. And I was sharing with her one day, I see this, whatever. And she looks at me, she's like, how do you see that? And I think in that moment, I thought everybody did. Because again, I thought that the way that I had developed was simply my own creative way of responding to the world and possibly even a trauma response of just creating a world within a world. And so that day I was like, you don't have visions, you don't see this stuff? And she goes, no. And I was taken back because it was the first time in my life I'd even shared it with anybody. I had dabbled in all of this and had learned how to navigate it all by myself, but sharing it with the world and sharing it with people was something I didn't do. Just maybe it was my coping. So when she looked at me and she was like, I don't see things, Shannon, that's a gift. It changed me. I was never, ever the same after that because I never shared it with anybody. So from that day forward, I was aware that I was different and I had a very strong desire to go my own way. I've always been that type of person. March to the beat of your own drum. I don't like to follow the herd. I like to do things in a way that makes sense and honors me mostly above anything and everything else. So I've never been one to follow the pack. I've never been one to be a part of the herd. I've always stood out, always been different. And that yielded a lot of pain along the way because we're born to believe that acceptance is what we're ultimately going for in this life. And so there was just a lot of rejection, a lot of emotional, mental, physical abuse. And so again, I do believe that I felt like I was coping. So once I started to come out of my shell and realized I actually had a gift, that it wasn't Shannon's own unique way of coping with the life that she had been plugged into.
Yeah.
That was when I really started to shift. And then fast forward, multiple abusive relationships. And I had gotten to a moment in my life where I literally had enough of playing the victim, of just pain after pain after pain, battle after battle after battle. It just wouldn't stop. And I got to a point where I broke all the way down at my core and it was extremely painful. And it was then that I realized It doesn't matter what happens to you. At some point, you have to wake up and you have to accept responsibility that it's yours. That now
Yes.
the tools, everything that's been handed to you, that now it's within your possession. And what are you going to do with it? And I woke up to a very harsh reality that I was creating and recreating a lot of dysfunction. And I couldn't find my way out. I felt like I was the fly caught in the web. No matter how hard you fight, you just cannot get out. And that is what I call it, everybody, most people know about it, but the dark night of the soul, where you're like, fine, I'm going to begin to face every single thing that's in the dark that I'm shoving down, suppressing, hiding. I'm going to look at myself, despite if I think I'm ugly or pretty, it doesn't matter. I'm going to look and I'm going to face all of it. That was the moment. I've never been the same since that moment. And on my way out of that, that is where all of my giftings for 17, 18 years, I've been mastering this. That is how I got out. It was not from reading books and listening to audio, podcast. It was literally one step at a time, going inside, following the energy, following my guides, because I hear voices. I don't always see images. I will hear different voices and my guides will come. And that's how I got out, because I know, but there's no book. There's nothing
Yeah.
that tells you when you're in that deep and you're in that hard and you're like, you can't even begin to know how to get out. So fast forward 18 years, I'm the book. So when people
Yeah.
connect to me,
Yeah.
they're in essence connecting to the information through empathy. The soul connects through empathy, that I've lived it. And here's my story first. I'll show you that I'm just like you. And the
Mm.
only reason that I know how to help you is because I've navigated so many different worlds, because that's how I got out. And so that's why a
Mm.
lot of people are attracted to me, is simply because I'm not regurgitating information. I didn't just read a book and I'm not just passing along knowledge. It is quite literally the answer, because I had to
Right.
walk through it first.
Wow. And you had the guides within you, but you didn't have an external guide. Like, I can book a session with you and you can help me.
No, I didn't have anything.
How did you know? Or was it just that you were so dark? You're like, I don't, like, what else do I have? I have to try something. Like, how did you even intuitively know what to do?
I think the birthing ground of my freedom was I've always had a lot of courage, and it was a trial and error. I always went inside. There was always an answer. I was always learning. I could see things on a board. A guide would be writing things on a board, just like you would sit in a classroom.
Yeah.
That world inside of me was the most powerful form of communication that I had cultivated over childhood and growing up. And
Mm.
so one of the reasons I went inside is because growing up, I was raised in a Christian home. I went to church and I got to a point where I did not like religion. I didn't like the constraints. I did not want secondhand information. I was very unsettled. Like,
Mm.
no, there's something wrong with this dynamic. And so it's like, I'm either going to get firsthand information and I will shut everything else out, or I'm not doing this anymore, because I have to be real. This isn't working. I was going
Right.
deeper and deeper into my dysfunction. I was basically shoveling more and more pain on myself, to the point where I literally couldn't handle it anymore. Like, felt like I was starting to lose my mind almost. I wasn't in my right mind.
Yeah.
So when I realized, okay, this is how I function the best. I don't function well reading a bunch of books, taking all that and applying it doesn't work for me. I'm backwards. What works best for me is I sit in that space and I still myself and I allow the truth to be given to me,
Mm.
and then taught how to use it. And then I didn't want to share with people what I could do, because I was afraid of the judgment. You don't walk around
Sure.
saying that you're a psychic and you can speak to deceased people and you're a
Yeah.
medium, especially in
Yeah.
the religious community, because very biblically, it's supposed to be wrong.
Right.
You are shunned, you are frowned upon. Don't use those words. So you have to showcase what you do in a very different light. So I
Hmm.
became lingual. I could speak multiple different languages. I can speak religious language. I can speak, God, universe, source, anything. But I realized it just did not work for me, because when I'm reading a book, I'm reading someone else's experience and trying to adopt it as my own. And I don't devalue that to any degree. I'm just saying for me, I would make so much progress so fast when I shut the world out.
Right.
Just shut the world out. Because in my world, and I really look at it like this, even though it was a harsh upbringing and being exposed to so much dysfunction, that was quite literally the birthing ground of me trusting myself because I only had myself.
You only had yourself. Yes.
I could only go inside and calm Shannon and love Shannon and be there for Shannon, you know?
Yeah.
So when I got to the point where I stepped away from religion, for me, it was, I'm done. Like, I'm at a true breaking point. I cannot take this anymore. There has to be something beyond this pain because I was in so deep. I said there has to be something beyond this. And I'm the type of person, I just believe this for me. I don't press this on people. I offer it to them because I begin with the end in mind. There is not one problem that does not have a solution. There's not one. It does not exist. There's nothing in your body you can't heal. There's nothing in your mind you can't heal. So I start very, very big, and then I start bringing that in. I start integrating that into my being.
Right.
So for me, it was all about, I just would make a lot of progress when I got very quiet. I shut the world out and I just listened because so much was being taught to me. And then I would practice on people and I wouldn't tell them. Like, I wouldn't tell them physically because I can tap into energy from anywhere. As long as your being gives me permission and it comes to me, then I can tap into your subconscious and work with your energy. And the conscious person has no idea. So as long as I have permission, because you always have to have permission, you can't just go rummaging through people's energies. You don't do that.
Yeah.
And I started to literally this is magic. Oh my gosh, it's working. Because I'm like, okay, because you don't know if you're just making it up or if it's actually something that's real. I was like, well, maybe I'm just making it up for me.
Yes.
That's when it started to change from Shannon's world to, wait a minute, this is a powerful gift and tool to be using for anyone. And so I started practicing on people around me that I felt safe with, that I felt like, okay, they're going to give me feedback. Okay, I just went into your energy. I just did this. Tell me what you're feeling on a physical level. So over 17 years, I kept dabbling in with people, and I would just, I have notebooks. You would think I was some mad scientist because I have all these notebooks where I get downloads of how everything works. And I don't even know how to use it. And I'm like, well, why am I being given this information? I don't even know how to use it. Fast forward, everything starts to come together. So I've evolved into doing multidimensional work where, whether it's energy parasites, whether it's large masses of negative energy that some in the religious community would say demon possessed. I don't use words like that. I use a growth of negative energy. No matter what it is, when you get to a certain point, you keep going higher and higher, you get more and more authority. Because in the energy space, you cannot overpower anything that you do not have more power than. That's how it works. So everything is about power, 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 and empowering people within their own being to climb that mountain, saying, guys, the more of your own power that you access and plug in to what's beyond you and bring it in, you completely start shifting your entire reality. So it's been a huge learning curve. It's taken a lot of pain. People don't understand to get to where I am. You have to experience a lot of pain because you're learning it.
Right.
So you don't get to bypass that part.
Right. You have to work past. Now, would you say you're helping people by tapping into their subconscious and opening up things that they don't consciously know?
Yes, with their permission. So the way that the subconscious works, think of it like a data center. There is zero emotion there. Files after files after files. It's just information. And think of it like a computer with the coding. Whatever shows up on the screen, we know that there's a code running in the backdrop to make that show up. So reality is basically the same way. Your subconscious is the coding. So when I tap into people's subconscious, I will extract the piece like, well, this keeps showing up. I keep struggling with this. Okay, understand you've created that. But if I tap into your subconscious, let me find the line of coding. This is your belief. I want this. And until you change that, You quite literally, your energy will keep creating that and creating it because you set it in motion and you haven't changed it. So I have my own way of extracting information because if you ask people questions directly, their conscious brain will answer. So I ask
Yeah.
the questions backwards.
Yeah.
I say, okay, you're going to get a yes or a no.
Yes, we
I
did
start and
this.
I
It was
write yes.
so wild, everybody. Oh my goodness. It was so
And I
crazy
don't
cool.
tell you, I
Explain
don't.
this. Explain it to people because it is
Okay.
so crazy. I've done a lot of like mediumship and intuitiveness and all types of things, psychics. And it was the first time I've ever done it this way. And it was wild. So talk about that.
It is. So we have three minds. We have the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the unconscious. Your conscious mind is the one thing you have to get past because it's where you develop what you perceive the truth to be. It's constantly taking in information, assessing, analyzing to spit out the conclusion of here's your problem, here's the solution, here's what you should do. Think of it like a best friend, always got your back. But it's also the one thing in the way because if you can't get what your truth actually is, you're not going to change. You're going to be
Right.
wrestling with your perception of what the truth is. So if I ask the question, is the sky blue? All you're going to be doing is answering me what your conscious brain perceives the truth to be or the answer. Yes, it is because I look up and I can see. But
Yeah.
I don't want to know what you actually are perceiving the truth to be because if you don't believe that things are the way they are, you're going to be operating very dysfunctionally. So I'll ask the question backwards. I'll say, okay, you're going to get a yes or a no show up in your mind. So basically, when I'm communicating energetically, I'm going to send that question to your subconscious because again, it's like a gatekeeper. There's no emotion. It's if you ask the question through energy, it gives the information to the conscious brain. Like, here you go. Here's the
Right.
answer. And it'll show up a yes or a no. Okay. And then I write that down. And then I send through energy, I send the next question to your subconscious mind. I need this information. So when I get down to the end of all the questions, because I'm basically being guided to as to what questions to even ask, because we're not just randomly asking questions. We are trying to extract what the truth is that if I put that in your hands, number one, you have permission to believe it because your conscious brain was out of the way. Number
Yeah.
two, you have something to actually work with that will change you.
Yeah.
Because if all you do is change just your conscious mind, that's a very small piece of a very large picture happening. We need to tap into the subconscious because that's where you change. That's where transformation begins.
Right. Yes.
So when I read you the questions at the end, because you had no idea what I was asking, you're just sitting there like, wow. Because now all of a sudden you're looking, it always resonates with people because
It
it's
was
your
very
truth.
wow. It was like, whoa.
And it's your
Yeah.
truth. I just
Yeah.
gifted you with your truth. It's not what your brain perceives the truth to be. It's what your truth is. Say I have somebody that's struggling physically, like with their physical health.
Mm-hmm.
One of the questions I will ask on that list is, do you believe that you can be healed? Well, why would I want to expose that? Because if they have an element of unbelief running in their subconscious, it does not matter what they do consciously.
Right.
They can't undo it. They'll
Mhm.
keep sabotaging their own progress. So it's very important to tap in to what people actually believe and not what they perceive the truth to be, because that's where the powerhouse of change comes in.
Yes. And also, just to give people some context, one of the things that happened when I did it with you was one of the questions was, and I don't remember exactly verbatim what it was, but one of the questions was about, am I ready for you to help me? And the answer was no. And so when we got to the end of the questions, I was like, okay, so now what? Because I just told you that I'm not energetically ready for you to help me. So what are we doing here? Right. And so, but what was cool is that the focus became on what do you need to do to get ready? So just because you're not ready now, the work is what needs to happen to get ready, which I
Yes.
found to be really powerful when you're talking about transformation, because just like you said, the example, are they ready to heal themselves? And if the answer is no, that's not the end of the story. It's like, oh, well, we need to go a level deeper and
Yeah.
figure out what is preventing you from being at the yes where you need to be at a yes. So it was really insightful for me personally.
Yes, because literally everything begins in energy first. So your physical reality and your physical body, it's the story. It's the running dialogue of everything that's running in your energy fields. And you've got multiple fields and you've got multiple things running. You've got so many different things being expressed just through your physical reality. So when people come, their main question is they literally feel like a pinball in a pinball machine. They
Mm.
just want to know what's going on. And
Yeah.
all I do is basically tap in and say, okay, there's nowhere that I can't go. However,
Mhm.
that's not the focal point. The focal point is that I don't need to go anywhere. I'm an open book. I'm a clean slate. I'm nothing in that space so that I can hold a massive amount of space for all of you to come in, be seen, be heard, acknowledged. One of my gifts and abilities is that I have the ability to process extremely quickly a lot of information,
Yeah.
gathering so much information very quickly. But then the second part is where the challenge is. It's one thing to get the information to help this person. The second step is I have to compile it and articulate it to you in a way that your conscious brain, because your conscious reality is still a vital part and piece in everything being successful. It's not like, oh, you suck, conscious brain, get you out of the way. It's no, I need to get your conscious mind on board because that's where a lot of your fear is like, well, what do? I don't know what's going on. So when I say, okay, I've got to take all this information that your being is giving to me, because once somebody can see and hear, it's like 10 voices talking at one time. You're like, okay, you get massive downloads of information. Now
Yeah.
you have to compile it in a way that that client can understand. Because if I take all that information and all that truth and you can't connect with it, it's useless.
Right.
It is
Sure.
absolutely useless. You have got to connect with, it's like, oh, okay, so that is what's going on. And once I'm able to gift people with that information and I can get that part of them to kind of release the tension,
Mhm.
relax, they open up and now more can come into that space. So
Right.
part of it is preparing them energetically, but part of it is also balancing. It's a balancing act between what they can't see, trying to tell people the unseen, which some people are not fully open to it, getting them to consciously connect with the truth, taking in all this information, speaking their language. It's a balancing act. All the pieces have to come together at the right time and in the right way. That's not all on me, though. I just
Right.
completely surrender and I channel a very high multidimensional power that says, it's not me. I'm just the
Mhm.
conduit. I'm just the
Right.
host.
Sure.
That massive amount of energy, love, love, light, consciousness, it
Yeah.
wants to touch you to help you. And I'm just the person bringing it into my being and being an open space for you to reach in, make contact with what is perfect for you in that moment,
Right.
because what's perfect for you is not perfect for me. So it's
Yes.
very dialed into each person. And when people finally get a grip on what's going on, it calms them.
Mm.
It just calms them. And that's
Sure.
what people want because there's more that's unseen than what is seen. So when they start to read the story and I gift them the stories, okay, here's everything that's going on. We're going to deal
Mhm.
with this in layers. Their being will also give me the plan because how would you even know what to do or where to go? I am the biggest servant in the room when
Yeah.
I'm with my clients.
Right.
Everything about Shannon has to shut off.
Yeah.
And I'm just the biggest servant. I am here to serve and to do my part to allow all that's out there to work through me to touch and help and heal people and to empower them because an empowered person is always going to be a more successful person. And that's what this force that I use different words, but this force and I, we're together. We're like a
Right.
team. What
Yeah.
it's all about is raising the vibration in people so they stop being powerless. They understand how much power is available versus what they're actually tapping into. I ask questions even like this in their subconscious. Okay, well, out of 100% of power that's available to this person, how much are they actually tapped into? So if
Yeah.
somebody only tapped into 15%, it really infuses them with a lot of hope and inspiration. That's like, okay, well, no wonder I'm kind of struggling. There's so
Yeah.
much more I could tap into. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
There's no recipe. There's no cookie cutter anything. I am literally a blank slate. Every time a client comes in, I have to wipe everything clean and do
Right.
exactly what I'm led to do specifically for that client.
For that person.
It's just, yeah.
Yeah. Which is wild. Okay. But are there times, because a lot of the things that a lot of us have in our past, just like you, they might be dark. They might be super scary. There's a reason why they're living in our subconscious and we're not dealing with them. There are things that deal with fear and pain and hurt and disappointment and so many things, right? Abuse. There's so many subjects that are so dark. Are there times when you're in this space that it's hard for you to keep that darkness from impacting you personally?
No, I'm
No.
very, now I would say if you rewind the clock back when I started learning,
Hmm.
anytime you are an empath,
Hmm.
anytime you work with different energies, you can absorb some of it. And I did. That's how
Yeah.
I learned, okay, I need boundaries. Okay, I need this protection. So along the way, just inside of those 17, 18 years where I was learning to master this, I
Yeah.
learned that. So
Okay.
fast forward now, no, I don't struggle. But the only reason I don't struggle now is because I had to learn by experiencing it the other way. It's like, okay, well, how did that latch on to me? Everything's about power.
Mm.
Everything serves you. If I'm saying I'm going to stand here and my being is going to put a fire on me, and this is how I was taught, quite literally on the inside, my being would teach me. It's not actual fire according to your conscious brain. It's
Yeah.
this is your holy fire meant to burn away anything that's no longer good for you. It doesn't serve your highest good anymore.
Yeah.
Wherever you're feeling the pain is where your attention needs to go because there's something there that you need to deal with. Everywhere else is not going to hurt because it's already been dealt with.
Right.
So in that space, I have worked my way out of absorbing energies. So I am very protected
Hmm.
because I've learned how to protect myself. I am very covered. I'm very protected. And I have learned whatever I'm told. And it's so important. I mean, this is so serious because it's like they're hypnotized, but they're awake.
Hmm.
If I go into your house, okay, so think of energy, you're letting me into your house. With my power and my abilities and what I'm channeling, I could mess things up for you. And the
Mm.
way that I was trained is I am not permitted to do anything that I am not permitted to do. In
Right.
that space, I am told, kind of like a slave, do not touch here. If I'm supposed to touch, I have to touch. If I'm not supposed to touch, because anytime there's a connection, there's a transfer of energy. Sometimes that's a good thing. And I didn't listen in my training. There was one time, it's like a kid's like, why is that big of a deal? Like, you're telling me not to touch this. And when I touched that thing that I was told energetically not to touch,
Yeah.
it took all of my energy out of me. Like, it hurt me down to my bones. So I learned, like a little child being disciplined, like, well,
We told you.
I told you, and I learned that it's critical to not assume anything. You cannot presume to know anything in that space. When you go in, you are like an innocent child, like an obedient servant. Whatever I'm told to do, that is only what I do. I follow a guidance when I'm in there. If I'm
Mm.
supposed to touch, I touch. If I'm not supposed to touch, you are not allowed to touch. Like, it's a very, very big deal. So along
Yeah.
the way, I've learned how to be protected from all of those things. But at the same time, because I've leveled up and ascended energetically so much, there's not many things that can overpower. And it's not just because of me and my strength, it's because of what I've allowed to be channeled through me. I've gotten rid of
Mm.
a lot of Shannon in that space, like ego, bye. A lot of your darkness is not evil and it's not bad. It's you don't understand the beauty in it. And it's like, so when we go in, I can be in two places at one time. If I'm working on a level with you and something's not unlocking, sometimes I'll tell the client, I need you to give me a minute because I need to go a level deeper or higher. I'll know which way
Hmm.
to go. I need to go to the root of this, or we're not going to be able to go any further. So I'll go down to the root and deal with that part of you. Like, what's going on? Why won't you let go? And we'll work
Right.
to release it there. It's like a video game. Once it's released here, it's unlocked in the levels up here. So I've learned over the years how to navigate in a safe way that's safe for me and the client. Also, how to work simultaneously. I'm doing this, but I'm also doing this. And how to eliminate the fear. Because when my presence comes in, it's a very calming, soothing, it's okay, peaceful energy. So when we're going
Yes.
into a space where they're scared, my energy will release a lot of calm and peace and confidence that it's okay. There's nothing in here that can hurt you. This is not the 3D world. This is your
Right.
world.
Yeah.
There's nothing in here that can hurt you. It's just really misunderstood. This part of you is so angry, and to you, it seems like a monster. But really, if somebody was ignoring you and you were in pain and they weren't helping you, wouldn't you be angry too? So sometimes I'll simplify things and speak to them in a way that's like, you're kind of misjudging this, but that doesn't really make any sense, because if somebody was doing that to you, you would feel the same way. Your energy
Right.
is feeling this way. And it's like,
Yeah.
so when I start to tear down the scales off of people's eyes, it's like, you don't have a reason to be afraid. So everything's about clearing, everything's about getting people to step into their power, that you do have the ability to be such a powerful, it's 2 words, powerful or you're powerless. There is no in the middle. There's
Right.
just no middle ground.
Yeah.
I'm all about helping people step into their personal power to watch them thrive. Because when you see somebody go from like, they're just downtrodden and they've got this heaviness on them and they feel frustrated and they're angry and they're so full of pain. When you
Yes.
start to help them release all of that stuff, you can quite literally see like light coming up in their eyes, because
Yeah.
life is coming back into their being. That's a tremendously amazing seat to be sitting in, that I'm honored and privileged to have, to like watch these people come back to life. That life is not as
Yes.
scary as what you want to feel or think or believe that it is. It's a beautiful force that you should be dancing with, that you should be working with, that you should be allowing it to touch you. So it's a lot of healing is what I do to help people revive themselves energetically, to be quite honest.
Yeah. Which is amazing. And you do it online, obviously. I did it online, but you also do it in person too.
Yes. I can
How
do.
is that different for people who live in Columbus, Ohio? How is that different in person versus online?
So in person, I actually have the ability to like play music and induce a little bit of a different mood, that it just kind of enhances everything,
Mhm.
but nothing's different.
Got it.
Everything is the exact same, because all the components have to stay the same for this to work.
Right.
I get a lot of clients, once they're an established client, they'll text me, hey, I'm struggling with something today. Can you tap in real fast and see? Or can you send me a wave? We start
Yeah.
building relationships. So once I activate you and empower you, now all of a sudden we can do exchanges. Hey, I'm a little sluggish today, or I'm feeling sad. Can you send me a wave? We'll send waves back and forth of energy. It helps people. But the
Yeah.
online is no different. The only thing that's different is you're just not getting the induced, enhanced mood of, I'm playing music.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
it. Everything
Yeah.
else stays the same.
It was really amazing to me when I did it with you, because I didn't even I never saw you either. Yeah,
Mhm.
and when I first booked it, and a friend of mine told me about you, and when I first booked it, I was like, "So you don't need to see me?" And you're like, "No, I don't need to see you for energy to work." Like, it's all
No, because I see your energy. I can
right,
literally, everything appears to me. I don't just
right,
feel it, I see it. So when I go into
yeah,
your space with you, it's like we're both wearing the same virtual reality goggles. I'm there with you. I can see everything that you're seeing, because I'm a
right,
seer. That's how my gifts work. And then I'll
yeah,
feel this and that. But if I see something, I can describe, if I'm talking to a part of you, remember, energy has no form,
mm,
it takes form.
yeah,
So in that space, what's happening is your energy is taking a form that helps you understand. So if I say, hey, I'm looking at the inner child of you, I will describe what her hair color is, what she's wearing, how old she is, if she has shoes on, what color her dress is, whatever she's wearing. I can describe every detail, because your energy is taking that form to
yeah,
communicate with me,
mm,
because I'm standing in the void. I'm standing
right,
in the gap between this part of you and the conscious part of you, and there's a disconnect. And
hmm,
because there's a disconnect, that power can't flow. Healing can't happen. So I'm the person that goes right in the middle. I'm
yeah,
talking to conscious you,
yeah,
and now I'm
yeah,
talking to the energy part of you,
yeah,
whether it's in your heart, your mind, your soul, your spirit, or multidimensional. And I'm talking to that part of you. And now I'm just the middleman saying, okay, guys, we need to come back together. And I just
yeah,
bridge that. I'm just the bridge. And I help you reconnect with self.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times when people have those visuals, I'm now painting the picture for your mind to see it as I see it.
Because you're seeing it.
And when I see deceased people, that energy, it's the same too. It comes in the form that it had when it was a human being,
Right.
so that I can illustrate to this person, this is what they look like. I had one client, I was like, your grandma's standing to my right side. She's about this tall and she's, her hair color is this. She goes, oh no, that wasn't her hair color. I said, I'm telling you right now, this is her hair color. This is the length of it. And she thought for a minute and she goes, oh, that was when she was younger. And
Ooh.
so, I've had conversations. I think the reason that things are able to flow is because I am like a child.
Mm.
I believe everything. I don't
Yeah.
really judge it. I'm like, oh, hi, deceased person, you're here. I make space for everything because I think everything is beautiful. I don't start with oh, that's scary, that's bad. I'm like an innocent child that's like, everything's beautiful because that is the truth.
Yeah.
You're the one that made it ugly, or something happened that made it ugly, but everything starts as beauty first. So when I go in, I have the eyes of a child that say, but everything's beautiful. That's
Right.
beautiful that we can still talk to, your deceased grandmother because her energy will never die, that we can,
Right.
there's healing because she didn't get to say goodbye. And so I get to be the conduit that helps that communication take place. And I don't look at it like it's weird. I'm like, that's amazing.
Yeah, that is amazing.
That's amazing.
It
I'm glad to
is.
do it,
I love that. I love that. My father just passed away. And so it's like, it's weird when that happens with someone that you're so close with. And it's super sad and it's super hard. But at the same time, I do believe there are other ways to communicate with him on a different energetic level. And his body was just carrying his spirit. And but
Absolutely.
it's an interesting path for sure. So let me ask you about the people in your life. So if you have to be invited in,
Yes.
do you go to a dinner party with friends and everyone's like, Shannon, tell us what you hear, what you see, what you this? Or is it, no, you get to just actually be Shannon out in the world?
It's a combination of both because you have to understand what I do is so deeply integrated into who I am that it
Yeah.
oozes out of me everywhere. That's
Yeah.
how you know that what you're doing is truly in alignment with you, because you would do it for free all day long, every day, and you never get tired of doing it. Like literally,
Sure.
you
Yeah.
never get tired of doing it. So for me, it's a combination of both. The way I look at it too is, and this gets me a little emotional.
Hmm.
I've been given a gift that I was lucky enough and blessed enough to cultivate this gift. And when I see what it does for people and how it helps them, why would I ever deny helping someone because of money? Like, why would I make everything about money? So for me, like deep, deep inside, this is so, if you were to go to my core, you couldn't find the end of this and the beginning of Shannon because they're so integrated. They're
Mm.
so combined.
Sure.
It's amazing what, if I took 5 seconds or let's just say a minute tops, and I say, okay, let me tap in. Okay, and this and this and this, that person's life can shift tremendously from 1 minute of
Mm.
my time.
Yeah.
So when I look at it like this, like I'm walking around in the dark and I have a light. Why would I say, no, I'm not going to illuminate that for you. Pay me. Yes, it's about money. I have to live too. But the people that are around me, I'm also a very direct, everybody that knows me knows me. I'm a very direct person.
Sure.
And I thrive in relationships that are fair and balanced. So I set the
Yeah.
tone very quickly that if you want to, and I use the words, if you want to use me, hey, I'm great, use me. But understand it's now your job to keep the balance and the fairness between us, that when I needed to ask you for something, you need to keep this relationship balanced and fair. Because
Sure.
if not, that's what kind of energetically creates karma, is when you're taking more than you're giving. And all of a
Yep.
sudden now you've created a debt for yourself. And energetically, you have to make that right, because the universe functions on balance.
Yeah.
And when you get, it can be out of balance a little bit, but when you get to a certain point, it's like the universe is like, oh, my attention is drawn. You're way out of balance. I need to bring you back into balance. So karma is not always punishment. Karma is not like, I'm going to give you a spanking. It's, hey, you're out of balance and you're going too far. I need to bring you back into balance. You need to give.
Yeah.
And the universe will come demand. You've got to give. And because I've been taught by universal energy, I am a daughter of that. So I operate very heavily on, I'm okay to take from you, but I must be giving it back to you. Can be in a different form, but I have to be giving it back in equal portions, or I'm creating a debt that my dad's going to get upset. I'm going to have to pay back. Like, no, I'm not
Right.
going to do it. So
Yeah.
I always let people know, you can use me. That's fine. But understand, when it's come time for me to collect, you're going to have to let me use you in return. And now I've just cultivated we're all resources to each other. That's how
Yeah.
it should be.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm always happy if people are, hey, can you see anything about this? Because I love using my gifts. Are you kidding me?
Yes.
I could do
Yes.
this all day long. And I
Right.
just would not get tired of it. So
Yeah.
I never mind it. Mm-mm.
I love that. What do you do for yourself to keep yourself growing and expanding and your best self? What do you do? What do you tap into?
I'm very heavy on two things. One, the physical body health, because I'm in love with the physical body.
Mm.
It is quite literally the best manifestation of unconditional love. That's what I went to school for. I'm an NTA practitioner and health coach.
Yeah.
So I always wanted to be a one-stop shop. So
Okay.
if I acquire all the skills and all the abilities, your body has an energy. It has a voice, and it speaks. If you don't know its language, it speaks through symptoms. But if you can tap into the actual energy frequency of your body, you can talk to it like a person, and it will tell you. So if there is nothing off limits to me, how fast, because everything is about speed for me. Work smarter, not harder. I'm in a race against time. I've only got so many years on this earth, and I'm here to
Yeah.
help people.
Right.
So my goal and objective has always been jam pack as much help and healing and information in one moment as possible. So
Yeah.
when I connect with people, my energy is downloading information to this person, even beyond their conscious brain. When people have energy problems or they have physical problems, it's always connecting to the energy. So for me, I'm always focused. If you look at my office, all my books are on the physical body because I'm in love
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
I think it blows my mind. It's amazing. It's
It
like,
is amazing.
wow. And
Yeah.
I'm all about health and healing. So health and healing go hand in hand. You can't be
Yes.
healed and be unhealthy. You can't be healthy and be unhealed. They just go hand in hand. Where you find
Yes.
one, you find the other. So for me, my main focus and what drives me is I need to be the billboard. If I'm going to say it, I got to walk that road, and I have to become it, breathe it, live it, exude it. Like, it just needs to ooze out of me. Why would I say, hey, come to me for help, but I look unhealthy? My hair, my skin, everything. So I'm always about detoxing. I'm always about, how do I love you, body? How do I love you better? How do I want to go to the top of every mountain, because for me, health is when every aspect of your being is functioning optimally.
Mm.
Okay. So I see things
Yeah.
in bar graphs too.
Yeah.
Physical
Yep.
body, every aspect of your being.
Yep.
So I am like driven like a racehorse. I mean, blinders are on,
Yeah.
sights are set. I am going to acquire everything that is set for me in this life. If people go with me or they don't, it doesn't matter, because my tone and my speed is not determined or dictated by any person. I'll go alone, and I have most of my life been alone.
Right.
That's why I've been able to make the progress, is because when I shut things out, I'm like, I am so dialed in.
So
Because
dialed in.
because the more I can get, the more I can give. People don't understand. It's not just a selfish, I'm just going to get it for me. I am two parts to one whole. One part of it is I am selfish. This is for me because I don't want to have bad
Yes.
experiences. I've already suffered
Right.
enough.
Right.
The
Sure.
other side of it is I love people down to my core. I love human beings. I love people. So the more I get, because I'm here to serve, the more I can help, the more I can give, and the more I can do it in a shorter amount of time, and we can make progress much faster. So I'm very deeply motivated. So I do a lot of meditation
Mm.
where I just keep tapping in. I just follow my guides. That's what I've been doing for 18 years. I just keep
Yeah.
going further and further. I keep going further out into the expansiveness of, this is scary. What if I can't come back?
Right.
What if I
Yes.
get out there so far?
Yes.
But it doesn't matter how far you go. You'll never be too far, because it's like the universe. It just keeps expanding. You keep expanding with your own expanse. So it never
Mm.
stops.
So it's interesting that you said that. Could you go too far? Because a one thing I was super curious about is when you go in so much, and if you are really capable to really meditate and like really go into this deep space, sometimes, and it doesn't happen to me very often, but every once in a while I do, and I don't want it to end. I don't want it to end. Like I don't
Yes.
actually want to come back to like, I don't want to wake up really. And so does that ever happen for you where you're just where the other universes feel more comforting or feel better? I don't even know what the right words are, but does that ever happen where you kind of wonder where are you as you're floating around between the different universes?
Most of the time I don't really wonder. And I think that's what makes me so good at my job is like, I just go because I have
Mm,
this such a deep and profound trust with my being. My being is never going to take me where I can't or should not go.
okay.
It won't. My being will
Yeah.
never, ever betray me. So when I
Yeah.
become more and more like a child, it's just, okay, kind of not that you're naive and stupid, but when you have such a deep, profound trust that you say, I'm going wherever you take me because you would
Mm,
never take me where I should or cannot go. You wouldn't do that
right.
to me.
Yeah.
Then you can
Hmm.
rest in it doesn't matter where you go. You have to have a balance between the etheric, which is the 3D world that you're plugged into, and the
Hmm.
astral, which is the non physical. You
Right.
can't be so in the astral that you're given just a tiny bit to the etheric world because it's still a part of you. What
Hmm.
we want to get to is where they're like the infinity symbol. They're just a constant flow back and forth between the two because you're going out into the non-physical to work and do your magic there to bring it into the physical. The
Right.
physical is very heavy. There's a lot of movement. There's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of activity. There's all these moving pieces and parts. And it gets so confusing. And so it's a lot. But the goal is to simplify it because as your energy calms down, your 3D world starts to simplify. They always are mirrors to each other. And I
Mm,
use movies a lot because the conscious brain understands through illustrations, whether they're picture illustrations or using concepts, but it also is a lot of movies. It simplifies a concept. And I always say Alice through the looking glass.
yeah.
She's in one world, but she can cross through the mirror and go into this world where nothing makes sense, but yet it entirely makes sense. It's this
Yes.
paradox of like when you learn that there's way more to you and how to balance that, how to have a love affair with both, and how to be real and say, okay, if I have a love affair with going into all this, the non physical, because it's easy there. It's actually
Mm,
not challenging there. It's easy. But then to integrate it into the 3D, you should develop a love for the 3D. And so a lot of times people want to go so far out because deeply rooted in their subconscious is I hate planet Earth. I don't like being here. It's
mm,
just too hard. A lot of people unravel that they don't like it here. They love
yeah.
themselves, but they don't like the earth. They don't like the forces here. They don't like how everything has to operate and how it feels like everything is so hard. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yep.
perception is truly reality. And so altering people's perception is a huge stepping stone in getting them to where they want to be but you have to change your perception. We don't need to change the facts. We need to change your perception of them and how you're perceiving and taking in and
Sure.
translating the information.
Yeah.
So I'm a mental medium, so I can tap into the person's mind frame where it's like, okay, this is going to feel weird. I'm literally in your mind. And
Right.
I see
Yeah.
your entire flow chart and mind frame. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, it's like I can open your mind and there's all these wires, but I don't
So
need to
cool.
know how everything works because my guides and my energy just shows me what the problem is.
Yeah.
So I don't need to know how the entire thing works. That's way too much. I'm
Yes.
just led to the problem. Okay, well,
Right.
see this chord right here? I'm going to highlight it red for you. That one's a problem because this person is not getting this information. I'm always just given what to do. So I don't need to
Mm,
understand everything. I forfeited that a long time ago.
yes.
I just need to know what to do and then how to do it properly. So a lot of people
Yes.
don't like the 3D reality because they don't understand that you should be integrating and working on your non-physical because then that's brought into the physical and how to keep utilizing both as a tool, you know?
Sure. Yeah. Well, it's the full mind, body, spirit, and you have to be working on all of it all at the same time and having a desire to want to improve and do the work.
Yes.
as well. How do most people find you?
Most of it is word of mouth. This is, I'm beginning to step out more boldly because I'm so confident in what I'm doing, and I've built such a good solid foundation with roots now. But a
Yeah.
lot of it is word of mouth, because it is sometimes very hard when you're a unique person. Uniqueness it has a benefit, but it also has a simultaneous challenge with it, because nobody's met a you. Yes, I have
Yeah.
these gifts and I have these abilities, but it's a little bit of this, it's a little bit of this. It's an entire recipe that is not mimicked anywhere else. So I might match someone else 95%. Okay, I do 95% of what she does, or this person. We kind of mirror each other, but then there's that last little bit. Nobody's like me, and I'm not like
Right.
her.
Yes.
So coming out and saying, okay, this is what I do, the way that I was trained, I was never told. And I got very angry, because it was like, you're talking to God, universe, just that part of you. You're like, why are you showing me what to do and teaching me how to do it, but you will not tell me what it is?
Mm.
For the longest time, I didn't know what I was actually doing. And my highest self would not tell me the words. Like, what is this?
Right. Right.
What is
How do
this?
you describe it? Yeah.
So fast forward, I'm laying there in bed one night, and my highest self is like, okay, I'm ready to tell you. And I'm like, okay. And so it starts giving me words. Okay, you're this, you this, you do this. And I'm like, well, why didn't you tell me this way back? I was so
Yeah.
frustrated, because it was like, I feel confused, because these people need me to explain what I'm doing. And summarizing it into one word, I'm a medium, I'm a psychic, I do this, that would be a lot easier. And my highest self said, because if I would have told you prematurely those words and those titles, your ego would have taken that, and you would have
Mm.
run off in another direction, and you would have never let me teach you exactly down to the finest detail how to do this my way. I was like,
Right.
you're right. I would have. My
That's
ego would
okay.
have stepped in
Yeah.
and been
Sure.
so excited, because, oh my
Yes.
gosh, I have this ability. This is what this is. And off
Right.
Shannon goes,
Right.
trying to like unravel the rest on my own. And my highest self
Yeah.
was like, I wanted you completely submitted, so that you learned how to do this entirely down to the finest detail, the way that I need you to do this. And I was like, okay, I'm submitted to that, because you're right. I would have done that. And I probably would have forfeited maybe a good amount of what I could have, because my ego would have stepped in and ran off with it. It was true.
Right. Yeah.
So now I'm finally understanding what I'm doing.
Now you know what you're here for and what you're actually doing.
And then I had to get over the fear of owning it, because you have to understand, I came from the Christian
Yeah.
community, the church, and
Yeah.
using the words, like, I had people highly reject me because I used the wrong words, and
Of
they viewed it
course.
as being evil and
Mm.
as bad. And I said, I don't understand. I'm just here to help you. Why would
Yeah.
you allow it to be down to a word you're going to reject my help? But
Right.
even in that, I learned a lot in how what you say makes a huge difference. The words that you pick and choose to use.
Of course.
And then I just got to a point where I'm like, listen, I'm not here to help everybody, and I don't want to. 'Cause I was getting so tired of like tiptoeing and
Yeah.
don't say this, and you might turn these
Just
people away.
be
Listen,
you.
whoever I'm here to help, they're
Yes.
going to be drawn to me
They will find
energetically.
you.
Period.
Yes. It's true.
I am what I am, and I am loud and proud about what I am, because the price that I had to pay to become this,
Yes.
I'm very proud of what I am.
Good for
Not
you.
only that, but seeing what it does for people, why would I be shy about it? You know?
Yes. It's powerful. It's really powerful. Well, we will put in the show notes everything about how people can find you, how they can get in touch with you, how they can book a session with you. I'm 100% going to get on your calendar again, because I had so many ahas when I did my session with you. It was amazing. But before we go, I love to ask my guests about a book. Now, I know you didn't read a book to get to where you are, but I do think that books can really help people by giving them some
Absolutely.
information about ideas, tools, concepts they might not know about. So is there a book you would like to recommend to the listeners and the viewers?
Yes, I'm just going to grab. I don't know if you guys can see it.
Yeah, the
Okay,
people who
so
are watching on YouTube can. Yes.
The Healing Self. It's by Deepak I never
Chopra.
say his.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Love
never
him.
say his name right. And Rudolph
Yep.
Tanzi. Okay.
Yeah.
So this book is such a wonderful book, and it's called The Healing Self. It's a
Yes.
revolutionary new plan to supercharge your immunity and stay well for life. That little tidbit of information is a little confusing also, because the book, it's such a good introduction to the relationship between health and your energy. So
Sure.
every chapter,
Yes.
if you've manifested this disease, if you would, here's what's possibly going on in your energy. So it's such a good book that if somebody wants to start waking up, because not a lot of people marry those two together, they separate them. It's energy, and then they just want the
Yeah.
physical to be the physical. So
Yeah.
it's such a good starting point that if somebody's really new to this and they're like, okay, what is energy work?
Yeah.
Or they're just kind of like new to it. It's a really good book that's an introduction to the vast power that's available to you right within your being. You do not have to reach out into the universe. You don't have to reach out outside of you. Not saying that you should never do that, but I'm just saying it brings you back home to self and the power
Mm.
that you have within yourself. And that should be truly your starting point is, how much can I really be healing on my own if I tap into all that's within me? So that book, for anyone wanting to either A, go a little bit deeper in their understanding between the energy relationship with their physical body, or B, somebody who's new to it and just kind of wants to say, okay, give me enough information that I can kind of wrap my head around what this actually is without going too deep. It's perfect.
That is perfect. I love that. And I always love giving the listeners and the viewers something that they can start, a first step. Dip your toe, see if it's interesting to you, and then
Absolutely.
follow up with more. So, Shannon, it has been such a pleasure to talk to you. This is going to come out right after New Year's. So really giving people something to talk about. No time like a new year to kind of really start to do some work, make yourself a priority in your life, really start to do some work on yourself and healing yourself, mind, body, spirit, and working with you is a great place to do it. So I'm excited to share this right after the new year with everybody. Thank you for your time. Thank you. Your energy is so calming and beautiful. And
Thank you.
I thank you for doing what you do and for sharing it with the world. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. I loved it.
Great. All right. We will stay in touch for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of Building the Best You. If you are ready to take a deeper dive into transforming your life, check out my Empowerment Fundamentals course on my website, houseofjermar.com. Thank you, and I will see you next week with another inspiring guest.